Very good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. Before we begin, please join me in a moment of silence for all victims of racism and intolerance, for all the victims of the pandemic, and for our nation's needed change and healing. Thank you. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and I look forward to our conversation today. To start, as most of you are aware, Chris Wall recently submitted a letter of resignation to pursue new opportunities effective today. Earlier this morning, Eric Friedman sent a really lovely note to the college community. I know I join all of you in thanking Chris for many accomplishments on behalf of students, faculty, staff, the college, and our community. He's been a valued colleague, and we wish him well in his future. Today, I'd like to focus on two priorities, and then I'd be happy to entertain questions, comments, and address any other issues that you'd like to discuss. First, I'd like to discuss our continued planning for the fall, including the stellar work of our Return to Campus Task Force to complete our fall reopening plan for submission to New Jersey's Office of the Secretary of Higher Education. I'll also provide a brief budget update pertaining to financial challenges related to the pandemic. Then I'd like to discuss the continued outstanding work of many members of our community to promote our collective professional development and action around issues of racism and intolerance and the great work of the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And then we'll open the meeting to questions, comments, and discussion. And I know there are going to be questions. We want to have discussion about fall planning and other issues. To get us started, I'd like to invite our Return to Campus Task Force co-chairs, Lisa Doherty and Heather DeVries, to share an update of the work and planning of their committee and the writing of our reopening plan. Heather and Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. This is Lisa. I'm going to start us off by reviewing the results of our Return to Campus survey that we asked the community to participate in and some of the concerns raised and how we're addressing those concerns. Heather will then update the community on some of the key decisions that have been made since our last meeting when we still had a lot of unknowns. So we've gotten some really nice clarity around some important issues. And then finally, I will close up by explaining next steps and our plan for submitting our plan to the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education. So I'm happy to report that we have completed a draft of our plan as of last evening. And I really want to thank and give a big shout out to the entire Return to Campus Task Force, the leaders of the subgroups, and all the participants on the subgroups. I can't overstate the amount of work that has gone into this in terms of just the communication amongst the group, research, making sure that we're really taking everybody's feedback as we develop the plan. It has been really an amazing learning experience for all of us and just a lot of hard work. So thank you to the entire task force. And I really want to assure everyone that the number one priority guiding us, in addition to serving our students, of course, is the safety of the entire college community. So we continue to refer back to CDC guidelines, Department of Health guidelines, to make sure that we are in line with those, and if anything, going a step further when we can. So on July 7th, the college community received a communication from the Return to Campus Task Force with a link to the template and also a brief survey to provide feedback on each section of the template. As of today, we have received over 60 responses, so thank you to those who took the time to respond. And we use this feedback to guide the development of our draft. Some of the most prevalent themes I'm going to review in a moment, and some of the solutions to those themes and concerns. I will also say that some of these will be covered by Heather in terms of the decisions that have been made, so it's nice to see that most of the concerns were already in our, on our radar and being worked on by the groups. So one of the major concerns was the quality of the air in the buildings, filtration, ventilation, the fact that you can't open windows in a lot of the buildings, and just the quality of the air overall. So Heather will report that the college has invested over $200,000 to purchase an air duct purifier system. So she will give you more details on that, but we understand that's a major concern. Our buildings are older. They don't have the greatest ventilation. So we are meeting that head on and have made this investment to make sure that our air quality is addressed. Another concern was how are we going to screen people who arrive at our campus, whether through surveys, temperature checks, testing, and so forth. So I'm happy to report that we do have closure on our screening process. And again, Heather will go into more detail, but it will involve a two-step screening process, the first being a questionnaire, the second being temperature taking through thermal mirrors, another investment that we have made to ensure we have contactless, quick, and efficient and effective screening mechanisms. I also want to point out that we will have backup plans for any of these measures should there be technology issues or failures and so forth. A third major theme and concern was the cleaning protocols in places where people will be learning, teaching, and working. Ilya and his team have done a really excellent job of developing a plan to make sure we are well stocked with cleaning supplies, disinfecting wipes, sprays. More than 400 touchless or contactless hand sanitizing stations will be stationed throughout the campus. And we have plenty of supplies, PPE, and cleaning supplies on hand, and we will continue to monitor the supply of those. Finally, the cleaning between classrooms was a concern. We now have an almost final, and of course our schedule is always subject to change as we know, but we were able to get a really wonderful report from Irma in the registrar's office yesterday showing us exactly which classes are being used at which times every single day so that cleaning can be done in between every class meeting. And I really want to assure everyone that the president, the cabinet, everyone is committed to providing the appropriate cleaning schedule and all of these precautions and measures so that the campus is safe and clean and healthy. And we are making these investments because it's really important. So the cleaning schedule will be our normal cleaning, of course, and then in between every class meeting. We also will have plenty of supplies on hand for those who want to do their own sort of wipe in, wipe out procedure. I know a lot of people like to wipe down their own areas as an extra precaution. Finally, another theme and area of concern was the enforcement of mask wearing and social distancing, and how, who is going to enforce to make sure that students are wearing their masks and visitors are wearing their masks. So I want to make sure we all understand that students who will be on campus are there because they want to be there and they want that in-person instruction. So they know how important it is to abide by these rules and protocols we're going putting into place, as do our faculty and staff, of course. But as a college community, I think we all need to hold each other accountable for these safety precautions. But we are putting into the plan very specific verbiage that if someone is not wearing their mask either at all or properly, or not adhering to social distancing or other safety protocols, they will be asked to leave the building by either a faculty member, staff member, or manager. And if they do not comply, we will contact security and they will be asked to leave the building. So, this is a state mandate that you must wear masks inside buildings. It is not optional. And those who cannot wear masks because of health issues really should be teaching, learning, or working remotely, just so that, the visual is that everyone who's in those buildings has a mask on. So we're all, responsible to help each other to abide by these precautions. So we are making very clear in the plan what the enforcement will look like. So at this point, I will turn it over to Heather. So those were the major themes. There were a lot of other suggestions and concerns that I think you will see addressed in the plan, but these are the ones that came up over and over that we wanted to make sure you knew that we were definitely aware of and coming up with plans to address them. So Heather will talk about some of our big decisions that we've made since the last town hall, and then I'll follow up with next steps. Heather?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to provide an update on topics that Lisa kind of gave a brief overview of that were raised at last month's town hall that came up in the feedback from the college-wide community about the restart plan or planning template, and just anecdotally questions and concerns that have been brought to the attention of the RTC. So I'm sharing updates and decisions from the RTC task force and its working groups on 4 topics in particular: air purification and ventilation, on-campus screening processes, cleaning and sanitization frequencies for classrooms and offices, and building capacities. So first concern is focused on air purification and ventilation. As Lisa just mentioned, the college has made a substantial investment in addressing this concern. The procurement process is underway for an induct air purifier. If you want the specific model we're looking at, it's called the REME Halo, R-E-M-E, and then Halo, H-A-L-O. And this air purifier will be installed in the HVAC units in every HCCC building. This model, kills up to 99% of bacteria, mold, and viruses, reduces sneeze germs by 99%, and kills 99% of viruses on surfaces in the space. So it's really a great investment, again, in ensuring that the quality of our air and the spaces are well ventilated. Next up is screening process. As Lisa mentioned, we are looking at a 2-step, or we have decided on a 2-step process. Step 1 will require the completion of a health questionnaire by each individual prior to entering any of HCCC's buildings. If an individual is cleared through this step, nothing kind of flags on the questionnaire, then they move to step 2. Step 2 consists of an on-campus temperature check. Again, a procurement process is underway for a thermal mirror. Thermal mirrors will be at the entrance of each HCCC building with multiple units for buildings with more traffic so we can screen people efficiently and not have crowded lobbies or anything like that. A thermal mirror is essentially a small tablet with a special camera that does an accurate temp reading. An individual walks up to the tablet, pauses for a second or two, and the tablet gives kind of a go, no-go based on the individual's temperature. If the individual's temperature is below the 100.4 degree threshold, green light, they're good to pass through. If it is above the threshold, then we're going to allow for a second screening attempt. The individual will be advised to wait in a well-ventilated designated area for 15 minutes and then retest. If an individual does not pass the second temp check, then entrance to campus will be denied. In that case, HCCC's security officers will provide the individual with a document that clearly indicates next steps, including following up with healthcare provider for COVID-19 testing, including several free options. The document will also include contact information for again, next steps and who they can follow up with on campus and off campus to address additional concerns and answer additional questions. We did also think about, again, technology is not perfect in the event of a power outage or a technology glitch. HCCC has procured handheld digital thermometers for step 2 of the screening process, and we'll have paper questionnaires on hand as well. And HCCC's internal security personnel, Jack Quigley and his team, will likely operate the handheld thermometers in such an event. And we will really be communicating very thoroughly about this screening protocol through the educational campaign and through the training modules that Human Resources is working on developing. And one last comment about the thermal mirrors. They were also selected for our screening process as they integrate with our HCCC ID cards, and this creates a log of who is on campus and in each building on any given day and time in the event we need to assist the Hudson County Department of Health with contact tracing. And of course, necessary steps will be taken to protect privacy. Third on the list, cleaning and sanitization. A special thank you to Irma Williams, Associate Registrar here. She produced this amazing report, very readable, very digestible, that really shows which classrooms are occupied when. And we really thought this report was important for both communicating with Maverick, our cleaning company, our cleaning service, and kind of for internal knowledge about when rooms are occupied and when they're being cleaned. You know, cleaning will be plugged in each of those on each schedule, and the occupancy schedule for each classroom will be displayed out front. So it's very easily visible of when a classroom is occupied, when it's being cleaned, and the kind of time between classes. With maybe one or two exceptions, where really quick turnaround cleaning would be required, there is ample time, often hours, between class sessions occupying specific spaces. And as an added precaution, disinfectant wipes and spray will be provided for use during classes by faculty and students, as well as in offices, again, for that kind of wipe in, wipe out for an added layer of confidence. And then finally, we are in the process of looking at building capacities to make sure that we are not exceeding capacity at any point. And thanks to Tricia Clay and John Scanlon for their efforts here. The report that they've pulled with Aleutian's help, with Lana's help, shows the intersection of day, point in time, and half-hour intervals and building. And we're just waiting for the comparison numbers for total capacity, I believe. But based on section capacity and adding an additional person per section to account for the faculty member, the report is showing us that the most at one time in the busiest buildings is 114 in F and 172 headcount in the culinary building. And again, as soon as to provide some context at some point of comparison, we will be sharing kind of, again, the building's capacities at normal occupancy in later communication. That's all I have. Lisa, I'll turn it back to Lisa to talk about the restart plan and next steps.
Great. Thank you, Heather. So next steps, we are trying to get our plan in as soon as we can, just so that we do have the option to return back to campus, 14 days after we submit the plan. So I think everyone recalls that from the day we submit the plan, we cannot resume any type of on-campus activity until 14 days later, unless, of course, we have a waiver for some of those special programs during the summer. So at this point, we have submitted a draft of the plan to the subgroup leads and the cabinet for review. They have a very quick turnaround for feedback, and thank you to those who have already provided feedback by 3 p.m. today. We wanted to make sure that after the town hall and hearing some of your questions and feedback, we can incorporate that into any draft feedback today. This evening, Heather and I will spend yet another evening working on the draft and incorporating all of the edits. And we will send it out to the college community this evening. So please look for that email from the Return to Campus Task Force email, and we will be asking for feedback from the community by close of business on Friday. So again, a bit of a tight turnaround, but we hope that with the town hall information you've received, the various communications, that much of the template will be, items that you've already heard from us. We do plan to submit the plan to the Office of the Secretary of Higher Ed Sunday evening or early Monday morning, which means the earliest we can have any on-campus activity would be Monday, August 3rd. So our goal is that we give students who need or require in-person access to services such as testing, registration, financial aid, advising, some of those really high-touch, important one-on-one services and transactions. We want to give them the opportunity to have those in person in August, but knowing that everything can be completed remotely, we will continue to encourage students to access our remote services as a first choice. I do want to also assure you that the Health and Safety subgroup of the Return to Campus Task Force is reviewing the plan in its entirety. The leaders have it right now. The subgroup will have it, of course, later today. And we want you to know that every part of the plan, even if it doesn't have health and safety as the title, it has health and safety as an undertone and a goal. So we can't really compose any part of the student services plan without health and safety as a consideration in there. We also have a contact at the Department of Health who will review our plan to make sure it's in line with local regulations and advice from them. So that is our timeline. It is, very quick. We do want to submit the plan as early as we can to give us those options for in-person services. That is all Heather and I have. So I will, at this point, I suppose, open it up to questions. No,
actually, Lisa, I'd like to keep questions to the end. We have a few more items, and then we'll open it to questions, all questions. But
great.
Thank you so much. And if I could just add a few things, So, I thank the faculty, our deans, our academic leaders. We, I think, now have pretty much confirmed the schedule of on-campus instruction and courses. These are in the high demand, high priority areas of pertaining to student success. So similar to what we've talked about before, culinary arts, nursing, health sciences, STEM, and other courses are those that are scheduled on the ground. I think I'm correct in saying virtually all on-ground courses will have a hybrid component, so that in many cases, if not most, at any given time, all of the students in a section will not be together on the ground. Some will be online, some will be on the ground. But all told, I think we have somewhere between 10 and 20% of our total course sections on ground. So the vast majority of our instruction through the fall semester will continue to be offered either remotely and or online. And even those on-ground sections will likely have a hybrid component. Same is true for support services, as Lisa has said. So on-campus services and operations will be focused on those most important to be offered to students on ground, but all of them will continue to be offered remotely. And then I would just finally add that our goal is to staff all on-ground services courses with folks who are comfortable being on ground. So we are attempting to honor all requests of employees who do not feel comfortable being on ground or have family responsibilities. We are also continuing to relax the policy for having to use sick time or vacation time for personal needs related to the pandemic, childcare needs, et cetera. So the policy, the practice that we're following is one of trying to respect everyone's needs, our employees as well as our students. I couldn't be prouder of how the whole college community has come together here. Let me note that the draft reopening plan follows the template provided by the Office of the Secretary of Higher Ed. It is not meant to be a plan that contains every detail. It's meant to be a plan that speaks to the overarching areas of concern at the Office of the Secretary of Higher Ed. So there are a lot of details that we've worked out that you won't see in the plan, but can certainly speak to if you have questions. And we'll also continue to work on detailed planning even after submission of the plan. And I think, as Lisa noted, while the plan does represent what we plan and hope to do, we're really not required to do anything on ground. If conditions change, that's our decision. But we cannot do anything on ground that isn't addressed in our plan. And so with that said, we will, in a few minutes have an opportunity to answer all questions. And again, thank you to all who have helped get us to this point. And Lisa and Heather, I can't thank you enough. You are superior leaders. And we've had a lot of faculty involved, and I want to thank them as well. You've all done wonderful work in this challenging and complex planning, and we're most grateful to you. And then I'm pleased to share believe this or not, I'm pleased to share some good news that we've received recently about two state funding decisions related to the pandemic. First, Governor Murphy and Secretary of Higher Education Zacchaeus Smith-Ellis, who actually has now transitioned out of that role into a chief advisor to the governor role. But they announced recently Governor's Emergency Education Relief, or GEER, GEER, funding allocations to New Jersey public colleges and universities. These are federal funds allocated to governors to support secondary and post-secondary education. And in New Jersey, Governor Murphy has chosen to distribute all $69 million of the New Jersey allocation to public higher education using a formula that Secretary Smith-Ellis and her team developed. We learned since our last town hall that HCCC's allocation is $947,000, which places us in the top 5 community colleges, which all have similar allocations. We've not yet received information about our portion of a second federal allocation of Coronavirus Relief Fund, or CRF monies. Governor Murphy has $300 million in federal CRF funds to allocate to public and private colleges and universities, although the use of these funds will be much more restrictive, and we expect much of this funding to be allocated to 4-year colleges and universities for residential housing and related revenue losses. Still, the good news is that our total allocation of GEAR and CRF funding will significantly exceed what we projected in our HCCC fiscal year 21 budget. And second, the legislature has passed the state's 5th quarter 2020 supplemental budget. This is the budget for the period of July 1 through September 30th, 2020. We are currently in that supplemental period. You may recall that the governor had recommended 0 allocation for public colleges and universities during this July through September period, but the legislature added 50% of our normal appropriation funding during this time to the governor's proposal, which has now been signed into law by the governor. So this amounts to $884,000 in 5th quarter funding for Hudson County Community College. Further, the state's approved supplemental budget also included $10 million for the statewide Community College Opportunity Grant CCOG program, and as you know, we serve more students with CCOG funding than any other institution in New Jersey. And so this supplemental budget allocation to CCOG will ensure that the program will continue this fall with the same funding and eligibility parameters as last year. And I think we are now supporting something like 1,300 students with CCOG funds each semester. And then finally, since the supplemental budget was approved, legislation has been introduced in the Assembly to make CCOG a permanently funded program, which we, of course, strongly support. Currently, it's funded every year. We're now working with our colleagues in the New Jersey Council of County Colleges to advocate level funding for the remaining 9 months of the 2021 fiscal year. So the budget for October 1 through June 30th of 2021 has yet to be determined and approved by the legislature. Our HCCC projection for FY21 state funding is 50% of the normal level of appropriation. So any improvement in the state's FY21 budget appropriation will also improve our Hudson County Community College FY21 budget forecast. That's perhaps more information and detail than you wanted, but I'm pleased to be able to report this positive financial news for a change. It's the first time I can remember reporting financial news that was positive. I do, though, want to be clear that our fall enrollment remains down significantly. We're still over 20% down. We're making just very incremental progress. So we continue to have a sizable structural deficit, but I do want to do a shout out to our enrollment services staff and all faculty and staff for a really outstanding summer with regard to enrollment. Our summer enrollment was up in double digits. This actually is a national phenomenon, but very, very good work. And of course, we hope that we will continue to see progress in our fall enrollment. So the enrollment challenge, of course, involves everyone's participation. We're going to leave no stones unturned in our focus on recruitment, retention, and student success. And if I might, I want to just also do a shout out to our Achieving the Dream team, which met earlier this morning, and just a really, I think, wonderfully productive, constructive, and I would even say inspirational conversation. I thank Dr. Sheila Dinan and Heather DeVries, who co-chair our Dream team. And then I will just touch upon international students, which was also good news we received yesterday after the really horrific news of just a few days earlier that that ICE had released guidance saying that any international student who didn't have on-ground classes would not be able to study in the United States and would need to return or remain in their home country. That guidance was removed yesterday after just an outpouring of outrage throughout the nation. I signed onto a American Council on Education letter to the Department of Education. And so we are back to where we were with international students, but in the meantime, we held a virtual meeting on Monday with our international students. I thank Lisa Doherty, Victoria Orlana, Sabrina Bullock, and others for reaching out to every international student. So our plan had been to ensure that every student would have some on-ground instructional component in their schedule, which was the ICE requirement for them to be able to remain in the United States. Even though this has now been lifted, we are strongly encouraging every international student to maintain some on-ground component in their schedule as a precaution. And the good news is that our model that includes some on-ground instruction makes this possible. And so finally, then moving on to the final item before we open this for discussion, I'd like to touch upon our college's engagement and commitment to addressing continued racism and intolerance in our society. I'm so inspired by the sensitive and often personal conversations happening across our college, many of which I'm able to participate in, and I've learned from every one of them. Also, we're seeing just a plethora of meaningful activities that are involving so many members of our HCCC family. Through our campus-wide engagement, we're sharing ideas, support, and plans for collective action, including speakers, panels, and other programs, DEI educational and professional development, inclusion of DEI content in curricula, building and strengthening community partnerships and advocacy, and others. And I thank President's Executive Council for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, I should say Advisory Council, President's Advisory Council for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, co-chairs Lisa Williams and Uris Pujols, and all members of PACTI for their engaged and inspirational work. And I've asked Uris and Lisa to provide an update for us today. So I turn it over to them.
Thank you, Dr. River, and good afternoon, everyone. This is Uris, and at PACTI, we continue to iron out all of the three initiatives of the strategic framework, which Lisa will share more details shortly. I want to provide an overview of some of the recent events that we held that the President alluded to, as well as some of the other programs that have already been scheduled and some of the ones that are still in the pipelines. I also want to highlight that PACTI is fortunate enough to have a lot of collaborators. A lot of these programs that are coming out there are not really done by us or just by us, is with collaborations with other partners and collaborators. There are just too many of them to name here. But I just wanted to start up with one incredible event that we held last week. This was sponsored by the Student Life and Leadership Department. It was a program titled Students in the Movement. This program highlighted some of the students that are out there protesting, and they were in a panel and they shared their insights. There were a lot of questions, and it was a very engaged, well-attended and engaged program. That took place, again, last week, June 7th. Also, we had another event on June 9th called Virtual Vigil. And this was a beautiful exercise of collaborative teamwork, cross-college involvement in making it happen. I mean, I know I'm going to leave a lot of people out, but Human Resources was involved, Student Life and Leadership, North Hudson, the Academic Support Centers, Academic Affairs, Student Affairs. We had Dr. Clark, Dr. Jones, Professor Anderson, Professor Adamson, and Mala Akbar. They were like panelists kind of leading the discussion. It was just wonderful and inspirational, I would add. Later tomorrow, we're going to have a debrief meeting that we're going to talk about the surveys that we conducted after the meeting, after the event, and also to discuss the next steps. What else, what are we going to do next with this information? Also, the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation continues to hold these weekly book talks on the title, Why Fragility? Why is it so hard for white people to talk about racism? They've been doing it 2 chapters at a time. I know that earlier today, they discussed chapters 9 and 10, and that continue for next week as well. So once that ends, I'm sure that we're going to have some type of a debrief to discuss what are the takeaways from it and how we could also take action and move forward, Also, in collaborations with Human Resources, we're really happy to announce that we finally have our storytelling series off the ground. You might have seen a flyer that was circulated featuring Dr. David Clark. He'll be sharing and answering questions about his journey. And this is a program that we're hoping to highlight some of our colleagues and members of the college community who are behind some of the work that is happening, some of the incredible work that is happening. And like that, we should get to know each other a little better. And at the same time, we could provide stories and narratives that our students might be able to relate to and say, oh, look at that. That's something that I'm going through, that I might be going through. And, I could relate to that. And maybe they might feel comfortable reaching out to these featured speakers. So we're extremely excited about that. Also, with collaboration with Human Resources, next week we're trying to put together another panel related to allyship. And we're looking at the date of Thursday, July 23rd, and more information will be forthcoming. Again, it will be a panel setting, and a flyer should have all the details of how to sign on virtually. There's much to come yet. We're very excited about everything that is happening, and one of the things that we want to point out is that if you have a recommendation, something that you feel we should do, let us know. And also, if you have an idea that you are passionate about, something that you would like to lead, let us know, and we'll do whatever we can to provide the support to lead us there. And finally, before I pass it on to my partner, Lisa, to talk about the strategic work that has been done, I want to take an opportunity to thank the President for, he mentioned this already, the federal guidelines related to international students. And I was very grateful to see that the guidelines were resent and kind of voided. But I'm very proud to work in a college where we were able to put students first, in the sense that, the President mentioned meeting with Lisa and some of the other members of the enrollment services and planning of moving schedules, adding additional on-ground classes just to make sure that the international students were not affected. So that's incredible. I think that talks to our diversity and to our inclusion efforts. And Dr. River, I thank you for that. That's all that I have on my end. And I would like to pass it on to my partner, Lisa Williams, Director of Faculty and Staff Development, so she could talk about the next part. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Yuris, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for those who have already shared information with this college community. Thank you, Dr. Reaver, for inviting us and giving this opportunity to provide these updates on some of the programs, activities, and initiatives for PAC Day. For those of you who don't yet know, but PAC Day, the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, even though it does, the word president is there, but this really is a group that is all of us collectively. So the entire college is involved in these efforts. But PAC Day is specifically broken down into 3 subcommittees. Those 3 subcommittees continue to plan and iron out all types of initiatives to support all of the overarching goals that are associated with them. Some of the items that we're looking at the subcommittee level that they've been working on, for instance, there are 3 subcommittees. Each of them have their own goal and their own set of tasks that they focus on. And we're sharing this information with you so that, again, at some point in time in the future, you may say, oh, I have an idea about this, or that. So this way you can have knowledge about which of the goals or the subcommittees that you might want to reach out to. And you can also find that information on our team site on the portal. But for goal number 1, they focus on programming, training, and improve infrastructure. They have already begun implementing many of the great programming that we've been seeing around the college, many of those that yours just spoke about and those that the President also has mentioned. We're also looking to recommend increased DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion training for the entire college community in order to help all of us infuse a greater DE&I framework throughout the college. Goal number 2, which focuses on HR processes of recruitment, screening, hiring, and promotion of current employees. We're also looking to recommend extra layers of DEI elements to make sure that diversity is at the forefront of our processes. The training elements discussed for Goal 1 would also tie into this goal, since increased training would highlight the DE&I focus at the recruiting levels. Goal 3, which deals with safety and security and incident reporting, its subcommittee is working hard to ensure that we increase and promote the transparency and the accessibility of all of our policies. We want to also share with you that New Jersey City College City University's doctoral students who are enrolled in the Community College Leadership Program. They will be spending time with PAC Day because Hudson County Community College has been approved as an experiential learning site. Also, just want to let you know that Eurus and I will be presenting at NJCU's Community College Showcase, and our focus will be the establishment and development of PAC Day at HCCC. Last we heard, there were about 1,300 people registered for that virtual conference. It is scheduled for Tuesday, July 28th, and please consider attending. It is free, and you can register at njcu.edu/CC Showcase. Also, when things slow down a little bit, we will be scheduling meetings with the Achieve the Dream chairs for increased collaboration. And that's pretty much all I have for now. As yours mentioned previously, please feel free to reach out to us. You can use our PAC Day email at pacday@hccc.edu. We are always actively seeking out collaborations and partnerships across the college and in the wider community. And I thank you for listening and hope you continue to have a great town hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalisa. Thank you, Eurus, and all members of the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and all members of our college community. And, if I might just share, a couple of days ago, I got a note from my friend and colleague, Dr. Mark McCormick, who's president of Middlesex County College, saying, I am hearing about the phenomenal work HCCC is doing in the area of DEI and asking if we would provide information about PAC Day and our efforts and years of Lalisa. Help me respond with some materials. And as they say, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So we're happy to share what we're doing and also want to learn from our colleagues across the state and the nation. Okay, so we now open the meeting to your comments, questions, and perspectives, and for our collective discussion. Lalisa, Eurus, Heather, Lisa, and members of our cabinet join me as facilitators for the conversation. So if you would like to speak, please press 10, and Hardik is here to help with any technical issues. Many thanks, Hardik. So we invite your questions and comments.
This conference is now in question and answer mode. To alert the speaker that you have a question, press 1, then 0.
And there's always a little lag time. Yours, Hardik, how many folks are on the line?
179.
Okay, great. Questions?
Hi, this is Professor Imam. I really appreciate the thing which is being done on the diversity part. It is really giving a very nice impression. Just to correct the date, Eurus, I remember you mentioned June 7. I attended that, and it was on July 7. So, sorry for the correction, but from that you can understand that I was listening very carefully. That's all I have. I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Professor Iman. Yeah, it's my accent. Whenever I screw up like that, I could always blame it on my accents. But thank you so much for that.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Good luck.
Other comments or questions?
Hi, this is Carl Ramos, and I would like to say thank you for everything what you're doing right now because it's amazing. And for me, it's something that it's my first time doing this, and I love hear what's happening. So thank you so much for everything, for Hudson, for the counselors, administrators, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Carl. Other questions or comments?
Hi, this is Michelle Vitale. Hi, Dr. Reaver.
Hi, Michelle.
I just wanted to, they're so humble, and I'm on the PADI committee, and I just wanted to, highlight Lisa and Eurus for being such great leaders on that committee and really always being available for comments. It's been an absolute joy to work with them, and I just wanted the college to know that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for that comment. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with everyone that I get an opportunity to work with. And every time I speak with you, there's so much positive energy. And this is something I've felt a long time, or ever since I've come to Hudson. Hudson County Community College has an amazing energy. So anyway.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Reaver, this is Joseph Gallo, coordinator of theater and film. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Joe.
I just wanted to pile on with my extra appreciative thanks to Lisa and Heather and the entire committee. Sounds like you're just doing outstanding work and, makes you proud to be a part of the Hudson County Community College community. I asked a question the last time that we had a town meeting, and I don't know if there's been any clarification or if any of this is figuring into the overall planning, but I would be one of the faculty members who would be sort of not necessarily against the idea of being able to come into my office to plan for the next semester. I know that I picked up some books in the I building back, at the end of May, and, no one's been in the building. I mean, I'm assuming that the building is at this point safe. I believe there's only, the offices are, very, scattered. But just to break the monotony of being at home 24/7, I think it would be something that I would love to take advantage of. I think it would make me more productive. And I'm wondering if there's any conversation or progress on that front at all, or any thoughts?
Yes, indeed. Who would like to answer that?
Joseph, this is Heather. I can speak to that. Yes, the faculty can gain access to their offices with just a simple email to Jack Quigley, at least, 1 day in advance.
Okay. Can you still
and we
hear me?
are working that into the plan.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so the question, though, is, because I know you contact Jack if you just need to pick something up in your building. I'm talking about literally spending a day, a few hours, actually, in concentrated work there. Is that possible?
I think once we're back, once it's 14 days past the plan being submitted, I think that would be fine, and I can make sure that's worked in there. That as long as people who wish to work on campus can do so with proper social distancing, that they can work in their offices. Unless anyone has objections to that, I think once we hit that 14-day mark, that would be fine.
No, I think that's right.
When would the 14-day mark be? I'm sorry.
We hope August 3rd.
August 3rd. And I'm planning to go back. So, yeah, Joe, it's a really good question. In fact, as we're getting clarity on who's going to be on campus and who isn't, many of our employees are planning to be on campus part of the time, not all of the time. So we'll have many employees working remotely part of the time, on campus part of the time. Some employees are working remotely but plan to come in as needed or as they choose. And then we have a smaller number of employees that are going to be full-time on campus, and quite a few employees that are planning to be full-time remote. But you should be able to, anybody should be able to come and get into their office as long as, they're social distancing.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Others? I can't wait till we can do this face-to-face again. I know there are others out there with almost 200 people on the line.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Reber. This is Sabrina Bullock.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hello.
So sorry for your loss.
Thank you so much. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for everyone's condolences on behalf of losing my dad. And if there's any international students listening, they know that they have my support. And I'm so happy that the college community is helping them as well, because I'm usually the one that hears about their fears and, all of their concerns about what's going on. And I'm just so appreciative of all of you giving us support. And again, thank you for your condolences on behalf of my dad.
Absolutely, Sabrina. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, my name is Gerardo Leal. I'm a 49-year-old freshman. Well, no longer a freshman. I just finished my my summer semester. And I just wanted to express my gratitude because in the last semester, especially to the tutorial center, they were so amazing that I was able to get 2 A's on my last 2 classes thanks to them.
Nice. Fantastic.
And sometimes in campus, you feel like, you are not noticed, but somebody noticed you. And you have so many individuals there helping one another. And I just wanted to say thank you because I already enrolled for the summer in 4 semesters, and I know all the changes that we all going through are difficult. But I noticed that so many of us are coming together and making new friends and making new ways of being successful. So thank you so much. This is, like I said, this is a 49-year-old learning how to write an essay, and now I'm just celebrating that. Thank you so much for everything to everyone that helped me be here today.
Thank you, and we celebrate with you. And while others, I'm sure, helped support you and appreciate your comments, I'm also sure you earned those A's. And kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Well, I do hope to meet you in person during the fall or during the spring or at some point, but hopefully we all have time to meet one another. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Let me just also note that thanks to John Scanlon and Lisa and others, we also surveyed students, and I think we had some 900, something like that, students complete a survey telling us, giving us input about their experience during the pandemic, their concerns, their plans for fall. And we got so much helpful feedback that has also informed the writing of our plan. And I'm happy to tell you, I was really, truly taken aback by similar expressions. I mean, the vast majority of comments were positive, were really positive about how we've come through this together. Now, lots of concerns as well that are constructive and we need to know about, but our students have really, persevered, and we're proud of them, but also they're enormously grateful for the support they're receiving throughout our college community.
So am I. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Other comments or questions or suggestions?
Hi, this is Kathy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Kathy.
Hi, it's Kathy Smith-Wenning. I'm Director of Health-Related Programs. You know, in front of my computer, I just clicked happenings for the week, and I want the school to take a look, Dr. Reber. Thank you. Let me read the headline. Hudson County Community College Foundation announces new Christopher M. Reber Endowed Scholarship Fund. So, what are you doing? Dr. Reber, you have pledged a personal donation of $50,000 to establish an endowed scholarship fund for full and part-time students. Dr. Reber will fulfill this pledge through payroll deduction over the next 5 years. He plans to continue adding funds to the scholarship endowment throughout his lifetime and through his estate planning. So, wow, thank you. And you know what? I bet you a bunch of us would like to do the same.
Well, I hope so. That's thank you for that. It's I know I've said this many times. I'm so inspired by our college and our students, and want to give back. One of the things that the foundation would like to begin to do to get to sort of the next level of private support to support our students is beginning to create endowed scholarships. So we have done a great job of raising money through events that we use. We just then almost immediately allocate for scholarships. The beauty of endowments is the funds are invested, and then they're invested to, over a period of time, grow relative to inflation. And the interest on the principal is used to support students through scholarships. So an endowed scholarship makes a perpetual impact. It will provide funding every year. It will grow. It can be added to. And so I wanted to get the ball rolling, and I'm proud to do it.
Well, thanks. And I am not a plant. I just opened up my computer.
No, you're not. Thank you.
Kathleen, this is Nicholas. Anyone interested, please send me an email or call. The foundation is going to aggressively pursue this new campaign.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you. I'm done.
Thanks. Others?
Chris, this is Lisa. I'll just add, of course, my dog starts barking. I'll just add that we are ordering a couple of giveaways for students. So, of course, if students and faculty and staff do not have masks, we will be providing them. And, of course, we have a supply of the disposables, which are, of course, adequate. But we did order 10,000 HCCC branded masks. We have black with the teal HCCC across the front and teal with the white logo. And so those will be available. And then thank you to Dean Sarangelo for her excellent suggestion of ordering branded hand sanitizers to give out to students to encourage them to have that handy and to always be practicing, those safety precautions. So those are just a couple of things that we're doing to sort of have some giveaways that are useful and helpful and to promote the precautions we want students, faculty, and staff to take.
Fantastic. And I think we're all going to look great with those masks.
Yeah.
Others?
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Reber. This is Vigil, the EOS counselor from the EOS department.
Yes, how are you?
Hi, I'm blessed. Say hello, please, to Gary. Hello, everyone, community, faculty, staff, and scholars. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dr. Reber. I also wanted to give a shout-out to Yuris and Ms. Lisa for being amazing leaders on the PAC Day Committee as one of the members. I also wanted to give a shout-out to Warren, my co-chair for Subgroup Committee 3, and our members. And I also wanted to give a shout-out to our summer program and our program, the EOS program, to Mr. Knight, Mr. Lowe, Ms. Rosie, Mr. Neal, and Ms. Guadalupe for all the work, and our instructors as we are now remotely online for our first summer program online, which is amazing. Yeah. And we're very blessed, and it's going great. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to them all, and just very grateful to be a part of this committee and community. So thank you so much to you all.
Thank you, Tejal.
Always. Thank you.
I don't see any question on the queue currently.
Okay.
I just wanted to respond to Tejal on behalf of myself and Eurus and other PAC Day members. Tejal, it's amazing working with you and that whole subcommittee, and just watching everyone's commitment to your meetings, your regular meetings, and your emails back and forth. It's just such a warm, it's such a feeling of belonging. So thank you so much for sharing your talents with us, too.
You bet. Anyone else creep on, Hardik?
No, I don't see any.
Okay. I again want to thank you all, and please, if you can, take a look at the final draft of our reopening plan, which should be available in a couple of hours. And if you have any suggestions, questions, concerns, please feel free to contact any of us, but I think probably in particular Lisa or Heather. And thank you all for your participation in our getting through this together. We truly are a family, and it's an honor to be part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye. Part of this community. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe and well, everybody. Bye-bye.